Today's Steelers Talk video is sponsored by GlassesUSA.com. If you're looking for a pair of blue light glasses like these, maybe a pair of eyeglasses, or now that it's summer, maybe some sunglasses, use the exclusive promo link down in the description box below. And welcome into Steelers Talk Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry, your host, and today I'm going to be breaking down 6 things that you should be watching for during Steelers' mandatory minicamp. Now, of course, minicamp starts today in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's going to be very interesting to see how some of these position battles work out, how the coaching staff starts to move pieces around now that OTAs have passed, and now we get into this very crucial period of mandatory minicamp. But before we get into those 6 things that you need to be watching for, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we have live shows here on Steelers Talk every single week. We have one tomorrow starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Chuggs and I are going to be discussing the latest coming out of Steelers mandatory minicamp. We're probably going to do some maybe free agency targets. Stephon Diggs maybe a little bit tomorrow. It's going to be really, really fun show tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed and turn on your notifications so you always know when we go live here on the channel. All right, number 1 on my list of things you need to be watching for during Steelers minicamp this week. Number 1, can Alfonzo Graham keep impressing during practices? Now, Alfonzo Graham, undrafted free agent. Now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he is somebody that some people that have been watching Steelers practices over the last couple of weeks during OTAs is comparing to Jaylen Warren. Now, we know Jaylen Warren last year was an undrafted free agent, came in, became the number 2 running back, and now Alfonzo Graham is making some really nice splash plays in practice that make people think that he could get that 3rd running back spot behind Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren heading into the 2023 season. Alfonzo Graham last week, the big highlight was that he had a one-handed catch with Minkah Fitzpatrick, of all people, draped all over him, which is very impressive if you ask me. He's definitely a really talented receiver going out of the backfield. He's definitely going to be somebody that's going to be challenging Anthony McFarland and Jeremy McNichols for that number 3 running back spot. It's going to be interesting to see how he does during minicamp this week. Number 2 on my list of things you need to be watching out for is that will Connor Heyward make the move over to fullback finally. Now, right now, Connor Heyward has been pretty much exclusively working with the tight ends. Now, he's been talking about how his route running has really taken a big step this offseason. I guess we'll have to see what he looks like when he gets on the field. But personally, I think Connor Heyward, with all the talent that you got at the tight end position, right? You got Pat Freiermuth, you got Zach Gentry, you got Darnell Washington, big-time rookie coming in as well. I think Connor could probably see the field the most as a fullback. And if he's really taken that next step as a receiver when it comes to route running, all these different things, becoming a true receiving threat at the fullback position could be something that Matt Canada could absolutely take advantage of. Right now, the only true fullback on the roster that's been getting reps at the position is undrafted free agent out of Iowa, Monty Pottebaum. And, he's got the awesome golden mullet. You love it. Multiple Steelers players right now have mullets, which is actually kind of funny. But, you look at Monty Pottebaum and what he brings to the table. He's very tough. He's very physical. But maybe, just maybe, put Connor Heyward there at the fullback position to kind of, have some different looks out there and kind of have that true receiving threat as in your 2 running back sets. I think that'd be really, really interesting to see. And it's going to be definitely interesting to see what happens with Connor Heyward in terms of where he's playing in practice this week. So coming up here, I got 4 more things you need to be watching out for during Steelers minicamp this week. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor at GlassesUSA.com. Steelers fans, I've got a question for you. How are you liking my new glasses? GlassesUSA.com has hooked me up with a brand new pair of Revel Tune 2.0 blue light glasses to help me in front of my computer screen all day long. Using blue light glasses during screen time helps reduce eye strain, decrease headaches, improve your sleep, and even increase your productivity. If you didn't already know, GlassesUSA.com is one of the biggest eyewear retailers in the United States, offering thousands of eyeglasses and sunglasses from all of your favorite brands such as Ray-Ban, Gucci, Oakley, and more. What's best about GlassesUSA.com is that glasses start at just $39, which is up to 70% off their retail prices. If you love these frames, there's a crazy exclusive offer waiting just for my subscribers by clicking the links in the description box below. They've also got a super helpful AR virtual try-on tool to help find your right frames. Also, shopping online at the GlassesUSA.com website is a risk-free shopping experience with free shipping and returns and 100% money-back guarantee within the first 14 days. You want some sunglasses too? I also got these Otato Roland sunglasses with the gold frames, the dark lenses from GlassesUSA.com. These are going to be my lucky shades on Steelers game days this year. If you want a pair of lucky shades as well, you can go to GlassesUSA.com and get the exclusive discount only available to Steelers Talk viewers by clicking on the links in the comments and description box below. It's only going to be available for the next 24 hours, so make sure you take advantage of that deal while it still lasts. Once again, thanks to GlassesUSA.com for sponsoring today's video. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball here, will Cory Trice continue to climb the depth chart? Now, of course, Joey Porter Jr. has been a big-time winner during OTAs to this point, but so has his other rookie classmate here in Cory Trice Jr., 7th-round pick out of Purdue. Right now, you look at the cornerback depth chart, definitely Patrick Peterson, Levi Wallace, and Chandon Sullivan are the veterans in this group, and the rookies, Joey Porter Jr. and Cory Trice Jr., are going to have to overtake those guys in those positions. But according to everything that I'm hearing coming out of Steelers camp, Steelers practices, Cory Trice Jr. is looking the part, and he could even be a starter at some point this season. Now, of course, the odd man out in that situation, because you expect Joey Porter Jr. to be on the field before Cory, is that Levi Wallace would eventually fall down the depth chart, which is something I don't really want to see happen. I think Levi is a really good player. I think he fits well with what the Steelers want to do here. He might not be the best fit from a physical standpoint, but man, he plays with great instincts. He's a true veteran presence in the locker room. I would really hate to see him move down the depth chart, but hey, if you've got guys like Cory Trice Jr. and Joey Porter Jr., who are very long, have long arms, very physical type cornerbacks that really fit what Mike Tomlin likes to do with all the press stuff that this defense likes to do in the secondary. It might be Levi Wallace getting the odd man out status here, and could he be a potential trade candidate potentially maybe at the trade deadline this year? If Cory Trice Jr. ascends to that number 3 cornerback spot, I could definitely see the Steelers and Omar Khan fleecing another team in a potential Levi Wallace trade if another team is desperate for a starting level cornerback. All right, so let me know right now in the comments section. Pick a cornerback 3 for me. Which guy do you think will be the third cornerback on the depth chart by the end of the 2023 season? Do you think it's Levi Wallace, type LW, or do you think it's Cory Trice? If you think it's going to be the rookie, type CT down there in the comments. Sticking on the defensive side of the ball here, a question that I have is who gets the reps at slot cornerback with the first teamers? Now, we've seen some different guys get the reps here during OTAs, right? Chandon Sullivan started out getting most of the reps, and he's still been in the rotation, but Patrick Peterson has been talking a ton about playing a nickel star position when the Steelers are in their nickel sets this year, which is going to be quite frequently. And then also Elijah Riley, former safety, has converted to cornerback, had a pick 6 in practice last week. It certainly seems like he is impressing coaches in the slot. Could he potentially move up the depth chart here by week 1? So these guys are in the running to be that slot / nickel cornerback, whatever you want to call it. And right now, I think it's anyone's guess. I don't know what Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin are planning for right now. I think it's going to be kind of matchup dependent. If a team has a really good slot wide receiver, I think Patrick Peterson will probably play more as a nickel star in those situations. But say you're facing a really good outside receiver like a DeAndre Hopkins or an Amari Cooper against the Browns, I think Patrick Peterson is going to be following the number 1 receiver wherever he ends up going. That's probably my best guess at this point, but I guess it's just going to be interesting to see what the Steelers end up doing in practice this week in the slot. All right, so show some love right now by clicking that thumbs up icon and liking today's video. If you think the Steelers are going to be a top 5 defense next year, I certainly think they're going to be in that category. Go ahead and like today's video. If you think the Steelers defense is going to be nasty, it's a free and easy way to help out the channel, guys. It tells the YouTube algorithm to push this video out to other dedicated Steelers fans like yourself. Really do appreciate all the support. All right, and a position battle that I'm definitely keeping my eye on this week is Allen Robinson versus Calvin Austin III for that slot wide receiver position. Now, we talked about this on yesterday's show for a little bit. Deontay Johnson and George Pickens are your solidified number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. But who's going to get most of the playing time in the slot? Both Allen Robinson and Calvin Austin III are showing out at practices right now. Apparently, Allen Robinson has some really nice chemistry with Kenny Pickett. Calvin Austin III, Patrick Peterson says he could probably run a 4.2. I mean, these two guys, they look like that they're going to be a really nice tandem in the slot this year. And somebody's going to get less playing time. It's just the way things work in the National Football League. But that's a very good problem to have if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, having as many good wide receivers as you possibly can is what you are hoping for. Somebody's going to get jibbed a little bit. Somebody's going to get less playing time. It's probably going to end up being Calvin Austin III, in my opinion. I think CA3 will probably be more of a 4th wide receiver, and then he'll come in, play in the slots on obvious passing downs. But for the bread and butter of this offense, early downs, 1st and 2nd downs, I really do expect Allen Robinson to be that big slot there for the Steelers moving forward. And then who knows, Calvin Austin III could absolutely transform into a star and get more playing time as the season moves on. But it's definitely a nice problem to have 4 really, really good wide receivers in your wide receiver room. And finally, on my list of things to watch for during mandatory minicamp this week is the battle for the right tackle position. Now, Broderick Jones is starting to get the lion's share of snaps with the first teamers at left tackle, but Dan Moore Jr. and Chukwuma Okorafor are kind of battling it out for that starting right tackle spot. Right now, I think it's going to be kind of difficult to bench Chuggs because you're paying him so much money. You really don't want to be paying that much for a swing tackle. But last year, Dan Moore Jr. actually graded out better than Okorafor last year, 62.4 for Dan Moore Jr. on the left side versus Chukwuma Okorafor with a 61.2 grade on the right side. Now, Dan Moore does have to transition from the left side over to the right side, and as he likes to describe it, it's like wiping with your other hand, right? It's just different. So it's going to be interesting to see how that transition works out for him. According to reports, it's going very, very well. So it's going to be interesting to see which guy comes out on top here by week 1. Let me know who you guys think in the comments section ends up getting the job here for that first week against the San Francisco 49ers in week 1. Type DM if you think it's going to be Dan Moore Jr. or if you think it's going to be Chukwuma Okorafor, type CO down there in the comments. For me personally, I think it's going to be Chukwuma Okorafor. Okay, you're paying him a lot more money than Dan Moore Jr. unless Dan Moore just completely outperforms Chuggs in minicamp and then training camp coming up here in a little bit. I just don't see Chukwuma Okorafor being benched for somebody that makes significantly less money than he does. And then if he does get replaced, I wouldn't be surprised actually if the Steelers end up trying to trade him or cut him at the end of all this. All right, so that's going to be the end of today's list. Here's a little bit of a recap of the things that you should be watching out for. Alfonzo Graham, will he keep impressing? Connor Heyward, will they move him over to fullback? Cory Trice, will he continue to move up the cornerback depth chart, maybe even ascend to that number 3 spot? And then also, who gets the reps at slot cornerback? Will Patrick Peterson slide inside more this week? Allen Robinson versus Calvin Austin III, who kind of takes, who kind of continues the trend that we've been seeing so far during OTAs? And then also the battle for right tackle. Does Dan Moore Jr. gain some more ground on Chukwuma Okorafor? That's going to be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. If you made it this far in the video, we must be doing something right here at Steelers Talk. So join our family here and subscribe to the channel. We are going to be having our Steelers Talk live show tomorrow. It's really a fun time. If you haven't tuned into one of those yet, consider subscribing, turning on your notifications, and tuning in tomorrow. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Big thanks to GlassesUSA.com for sponsoring today's video. The exclusive promo link for their eyeglasses, sunglasses, all that kinds of stuff can be found in the description and comments of today's video.